Hello everybody, welcome back to part 3 of my G6-01 6-wheel drive convert to rear-wheel drive. So today we're going to be doing the electrics, but we're not going to be doing all of the electrics because I'm still waiting for an electronic speed controller to arrive through the post. So the only part of the electrics I can do today is to get the steering servo in, and I'm also going to get this like part in for the steering, and probably get a door on, and that's about it really. Not going to be a very long one, hopefully. So it says here in the book to sort out when you're doing the steering servo, you need to get the B12, the B6 and the E4 parts together, or B11 or B12 depending on how many splines there are on your steering servo, and which sort of screw or whatever you want to use for it. Okay, so I've got in front of myself there, and I've already connected that up on the steering servo. You'll see that it sits this way. In the book tells you this needs to be as close to the bottom as possible, as straight as possible, but depending on the splines on your teeth as to where they sit, whether they sit central or to one side, you can always adjust that on the trim on your handset. So I put the steering posts on. So I go to the book, flick it over, and then it says down here, where are we? Nope, turn it this way. Okay, so it just tells you how to connect the parts up. Then you get this part, you put in all these brass 5mm ball connectors, and I've also put in the 850 size rubber sealed metal bearings to go in, and then it says over here, put the servo posts on and the screws and the bits and bobs. Now here on this part, number 20, there's enough room. It tells you to set up your tie rods. Now you have to make 3 of them, and they all have to be the same size. The gap here needs to be 24mm. So when you connect them all up, they're all the same, 24mm. But because I've extended the wheelbase on this build, these 2 tie rods that go on the outside for the left and the right, I've extended to 26mm. So one of these turnbuckles, I've used the CW-01 turnbuckles because this part here, this shoulder that the thread goes into, is longer than the turnbuckles you get with the G6-01 kit. So what I've done is, when you turn these outwards to make this thread longer, half a turn is half a mil. So 1 mil on the left and 1 mil on the right. So I've unwound those because I've extended my wheelbase. And then it tells you at the bottom there how to connect it all, put the rod in and so on. So yeah, we'll be doing that today. Yeah, so let's get these parts. Get my pliers. Got my pliers. Yeah, got a set of pliers. Alright, so these are the 2 long ones that I've extended to 26mm, and they go on the outside. This is where it all goes wrong now. Oh! And, no, can't push that in, because that hurts. Alright, let's just do it old school. Oh, what? Stay. Stay. Ah, right, yeah, okay. So those ones are 26mm. Now the one that's going to be 24mm is the standard one that's going to go on the end here. And then this one will go into, be connected to the steering servo. This is where you need to be an octopus now. Okie dokie. So far so good. Now we're going to whip this upside down to make it easier for connecting it all. Maybe not that way. Let's turn it this way like it says in the book to make it easier for ourselves to connect it all. Oh, don't know what that was doing on there. Anyway, so we're now going to poke these through the book over here, I think. Get a better idea of how it's all going to go. So this will go through. No. Yep. No. Okay, just going to go through like so. And I need to put this post through it. He says. I might have to turn this at an angle. Ah, here we go. Ah, sweet. Right, let's just pop that in with a little screwdriver. Ah, blinding all the way through. Yeah, so we've got 1 rod, 2 rods, and that goes up to the steering servo. Okay, so now I just need to put in a 20mm bolt. Just get the bolts out. Ah, yeah, I've still got that little key. I need to give that back to Alan. Let's make sure this is a 20mm bolt, because I've got so many of them. Oh yeah, check that out. 20mm. Is that focus? Yeah, 20mm. It is a Allen key bolt, and I got it from my friend Alan. So we'll just turn that round. We'll put that bolt in there like so. Here comes the fun part of screwing it up. So hopefully this will be as quick as possible. Now all the way through this build I've used these stainless steel Allen key bolts, but when it comes to putting the steering servo on, I'm not going to be able to use them, and the reason for that is if you see inside here you'll have a bolt there and a bolt there. Well, because the head on the bolt is too big, what it'll do, it will go into the battery compartment by a couple of mil, and when you put the battery in, the battery will rub on the side of the heads on the bolts. So I'm not going to be using the Allen key bolts to hold the steering servo in. What I'm going to use is these stainless steel machine thread screws that I've got. They are 0.5 pitch, and they're stainless steel, so I'm going to use those to hold the side of the steering servo on. So we should be doing that now. This will be fun. So there's my big screwdriver. I'll just screw that on like so. Just screw it in so it sort of goes in there. Doesn't have to be done up all the way, because I need to try and line this one up as well. Oh man, come out. Always one. And then this has to go through this magic hole in the side. I'll get these two done up. Now I need to use these, obviously like I said, because these heads on these screws are a lot less than the Allen key bolts. It also says in the book to put a piece of sponge foam at the end of the battery there, like towards the front of the battery compartment, which needs to be 40mm wide by 15mm high. Well, I didn't have a piece of sponge foam that was 40 by 15. I've used a piece of 20mm by 20mm squared and just poked it in there. Okay, so over to the book. Put the steering servo on. Okay, now it says to connect the arms. So and turn this upside down, and we shall be connecting the arms. So this one will go onto there. Ooh. And these ones hopefully should go onto here. See, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean that up to show you, to make sure that they do line up properly. And then once they're on, if they don't line up, I can always get the pliers on that bar and wind them out. A little bit of play there, that's not a problem, just sort that out. Okay. So yeah, let's get that arm on there. And then get this arm onto here. So as you can see, well, not in a bad guess at all. Yeah, they do line up. Excellent. Oh, maybe that's not so excellent. Okay. Yeah, I'll reroute that at some point. Now, onto the book. It says to place the door. So this is the door, and you're supposed to put this piece of sponge foam 8mm wide by, or 80mm wide but 8mm high. So I've just cut mine down to 6mm and just put it on the inside of the door. It just sits, so from the other side you can't see any sponge foam. So that plastic bit sits, that foam sits all the way in. And it says to put it in like so. Excellent. I'm just going to put a couple of random clips in there for the time being. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Now when you turn the page over, it tells you in the book that you're now going to be doing all of the electrics, fitting the ESC in, the receiver. I've already done that bolt, how to cable tie all the wires up together, put the rear bumper on. Well, I can't do that because I'm still waiting for the electronic speed controller to arrive through the post. So as soon as that arrives, I'll be fitting those parts in. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Yeah, it's going to be a short video, part 1 of the electrics of part 3 of the video build. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I'll catch you all up with you soon in the next video. Whatever you're doing, have fun. Bye for now.